Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second stream of Kerbal Space Program. Today, we're going to be continuing where we left off on trying to unlock the research and development tree. So, let's get right into this. So, last time we left off, Valentina was able to do a full orbit of Kerbin. We also sadly lost Jebediah Kerbin. He splashed down in the water with a parachute, but he was going too quickly. So while I was doing that last flight, I realized that we need a few things to upgrade before we can continue. So I'm going to go into the tracking station. This is your tracking station. This is where we can view everything that we have going on in flight. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade this facility by right clicking and going upgrade. I have 182,000 left. I need to upgrade my mission control as well, and that will unlock maneuver nodes. 75,000 for that one. So let's unlock it. So we have 107,000 left. So let's pick up a new contract to see if we can get some more money. Alright. Well, first thing we can do is explore the moon. Fly by the moon, they're going to give us 64,000, 41,000 to complete it, and 22,000 as an advance. So let's accept that one. And let's pick one more. Last time we were looking at this mission and we weren't sure if we can actually be going that speed, but let's grab it anyways. So now we have 2 out of 7 missions because we upgraded our mission control. We're able to hold more contracts now. Let's see if there's any other ones that we could pick up. This one have a LVT-45 swivel liquid fuel engine, and they wanted to test it in flight above Kerbin going this speed. I'm actually gonna stay away from that one. Maybe I can do this one. Ooh, that's a really high altitude. I don't think I'll do that one either. Maybe we'll just focus on the one that we have, explore the moon and hauling this parachute. So let's leave the facility and let's build a new rocket for Valentina, since that's our only pilot. We did hire a pilot last time, and that pilot that we hired is January. So Jebediah is back. Oh, how did that happen? Okay. Well, I'm gonna remove him and put in Valentina. I guess we have Jebediah. He came back to life. Okay, so with this first pod here, we're gonna try to add on a parachute first of all. That way she can come home safely. We're gonna get some science going on. Mystery goo containment unit. I'll put 2 of those on the side of this thing. Perfect. Alright, let's get some thermometers on there, because we're going to go to the moon. Plenty of science to be had from there. Also going to put on the atmospheric pressure sensor. And this time we're actually going to bring this. We unlocked it last time in the last stream, and it's going to give us some more science. So this is pretty much all we want to take to the moon. So we're going to get a heat shield on there so we're able to bring Valentina home safely. Perfect. And then we'll get a decoupler. Put that one on there, like so. There we go. So now we can worry about fuel. So let's get these big tanks on there. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Get one more tank. We'll We'll put on an engine there. Let's put on the Terrier liquid fuel engine. So the next thing we will need to do is get another decoupler. Grab one of those, put it on. And what is our limits here? We can have 15 more parts and about 11.5 tons. So I'm gonna add more fuel tank. More fuel, can't go wrong with that. We need more fuel. Let's get a small one. There we go. Engines, Reliant. I think I'll put on a Reliant for this middle one. And then we will see if we have the radial decouplers. So these go on the side. And when you hit the spacebar, they'll jettison anything that's attached to them. So let's see if we have any boosters that we can use on our engines. We do. This actually will put us over though for the weight. If I put on 2 of those. Yeah, it does. By a lot actually. What is our weight currently right now? 15.8. Maybe I can only do 1 little booster. Fuel tanks. Engines, 1.5 tons, 3.5 tons. And how much space do I have? Let's go with the 1.5. We might have to take something on. 1.5. Well, if we do have to take anything off, we'll take off the mystery goo containment units. So I'm just going to lower these a little bit. I'll bring them down there. That's not going to give us very much, but it'll help. So let's just take off the mystery goo containment. And we're still shy, just about 7.15 tons. I mean, I could just take off all of these other experiments. Let's see if that will help. Nope. I guess I'm going to have to take off 1 fuel tank. Let's see how that works out. Maybe I will get rid of this one. Alright, so we are now... Maybe I can put a half tank. This one? Yeah. Oh, that's close enough. So that gets us right to almost 18 tons. And this rocket's going to cost us 12,757 Kerbal bucks. So we did lose our mystery goo containment unit, but it's worth it since we do have this Science Junior experiment. So let's label this Lunar Flyby. And let's hope Valentina can actually get into orbit with this little rocket. Just double check our staging here, make sure everything is correct. I'll get rid of all this excess stuff that we don't need. Alright, so we're gonna fire all 3 of these boosters at the same time. Get rid of those 2, then that, and then we'll fire this last one. I think we are good to go, so let's launch. So this is just going to be a test launch. We're actually not going to launch yet. We're going to get some science from the launch pad. And that'll give us hopefully another tech tree to unlock, or a node. Alright, so haul the parachute into flight above Kerbal. They want us to be flying and at an altitude of 1,000 and 8,000 meters. We might be able to hit this one on our way back. But if I'm not mistaken, I should be able to just right click and say run test when I'm in parameters, but we'll find out what happens. So let's gather our science that we're looking to gather here. Conduct material study. 7.5 science. Material study from the launch pad. The materials show little signs of change, though one of the samples appears to be judging you silently. So there's life in there, I guess. Alright, so we're going to keep that experiment. Let's see if we can run any more experiments while we're here on the launch pad. Log temperature, we did that one last time. Log pressure data, we did that one last time. Crew report, can we do that one? Yeah, we got that one already. Let's do an EVA. And let's see if we can gather an EVA report. Oh, we can. I don't think a spacesuit was entirely necessary to get here, was it? Yeah, it was. Alright, 2.4 science for that. We're just going to keep it. And we are going to board our ship. And since we did gather some science there, we're just going to recover our vessel. So before we launch, we'll probably unlock another science node from the research and development, and then we'll launch and see what happens with that rocket. 9.9 science earned. We only have 12, so not quite enough to unlock anything. So I guess we're going to go straight to launch. Is Valentina ready? She's probably traumatized after seeing what happened to Jebediah. Well, we'll start the 10-second countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. I'm going to cut my engine there. We'll let those little boosters just push us up. And we're going to ditch those. Full throttle. Perfect. I really don't think this will be enough to get us up there, but let's see what happens. Nice sunrise going on there. I could do a material study right now, but I'm going to try to save that for when we get into space. Temperature, log temperature, why not? We'll keep that. Pressure data, we already did one of those, so we'll just reset that experiment. How about a crew report? Already did that one. Reset experiment. So now we're at about 10,000 meters. We're going to tilt over to the right slightly. Not too much. Alright, looking good. So the reason why we upgraded our tracking station and the mission control center is so when we go into our map, we can actually see our apoapsis. And it shows how high we're actually going to get. So what you want to do is get this to above 70,000. 62, 3, and 70. Perfect. We'll just stop right about there. And right about here, I'm going to fast forward up to that point. I'm going to throttle full against the horizon. And hopefully that'll get us into orbit. Alright, we're getting to that point. So now full throttle on the horizon. Gonna have to ditch this stage here pretty soon. Perfect. And ditch. Next one, fire. Now the question is, will we have enough time to actually make it into orbit with this thing? So our apoapsis is slowly gaining, and our speed is increasing rapidly. Well, actually slowly, but looks like we will be able to get into orbit. Getting to the moon though, that might be another story, but let's see what happens. I'm just gonna slowly go into the left here because my apoapsis is gonna pass me. And that means I'm still gaining altitude as I'm pointing in this direction. And slowly tilt to the right. The only thing about doing it this way though is it's not too efficient, because I'm not pointing on the prograde. 73,000. Now I'm going to point to prograde here. Keep myself aligned nicely. We'll stay at 10 degrees. So our apoapsis is slowly climbing meters per second. And we are about 400 ms away from orbit. So as I get closer to the orbital speed, this is going to actually go left and right really quickly. And I'm approaching orbital speed. Just going to look on the other side of the map here to see where our periapsis is. And once that hits 70, we stop our engine. So now we have an orbit of 71,956 versus 75,223. So we are officially in orbit. Congratulations, Valentina. That's the second time that you made it to orbit. Jebediah, he was brought back to life magically. I really don't know how. Apparently, Kerbals respawn after they die. So while we're up here, let's do a temperature scan. I'm going to log the temperature. We already did that one. Log the pressure data. We already did that one. Crew report. We already did that one. So we have all the space that we can, all the signs that we can get from low orbit space. So the next thing we're going to do is try to get to the moon. Now I have 1,187 ms of delta V left. That should give me enough to fly by the moon. Returning though will be a little tricky. So what I'm going to do here is go into the map view. And we're going to look at the moon. Well, as they call it in Kerbal Space Program, the MUN. I am going to right click it and set it as target. So now it's showing me two lines here. And this is a descending node. And this is an ascending node. It just tells you how many degrees you're off being the same plane as the moon. Although I think the moon really doesn't matter. It just depends on how you launch into orbit. So what I'm going to do is right about here, I'm going to add a maneuver node. Now we're going to go full prograde. So that actually brings out our apoapsis to near the moon. A little bit more and we can get ourselves an encounter. Perfect. So since we're just doing a flyby, we don't really need to get into an orbit of the moon. We're just going to gather some science and try to get those experiments done. So I'm going to try to do this with using minimal fuel. 843.3 is what it's going to cost us to do this. Now, once we execute this burn, it'll give us a periapsis of 158,101, which should be okay. So what I'm going to do is point myself on the maneuver node. And I did realize that I didn't bring any solar panels or anything to help with this electric charge drain. So what I'm going to do now is turn off my SAS for now. I'm going to fast forward time. And just wait until the start burn down here hits 1 minute. Perfect. So we got 7 seconds to go. And we will start our burn in 1 burn. I'm going to turn the SAS back on temporarily. So this burn is going to take 34 seconds to complete. And once we complete that burn, we should be in this orbit trajectory. I just hope that we're able to come home with this, because we don't want to lose Valentina on the second screen and Jebediah on the first one. Alright, so we're approaching our speed. I'm just going to slow it down a little bit. Oh, not that much. There we go. So about halfway. Bring it down to 1/4. And once I can actually get rid of that. And you can see it up here. Perfect. So now we have a moon encounter. So the next thing I'm going to do is save some electric charge by turning off the SAS. We have 341 ms of delta V left. So I hope that should be enough to definitely get home. Alright, so what we can do is we can gather some more science when we're really high above Kerbal. Because right now we're pretty low. So I'm just going to fast forward time a little bit. Maybe that should be good. Get a nice little cinematic view of the planet as we leave. Ah, beautiful. So when I hit about 1 million, I'm just going to pause it. And let's do a little bit of science while we're way out here. We will do a crew report. Actually, no, I can't do a crew report. Because I can only do one. And I would prefer to do that near the moon. So I could take a temperature reading. Apparently I already got that one. So I'm going to reset the experiment. And how about the pressure dip? I got that one too. That's unfortunate. Maybe I should have brought a scientist with me. A scientist would have been able to reset this experiment. Well, since there's no science to be done, I guess all we can do is fast forward to our moon encounter. So I'm just going to click here and hit warp here. Alright, so we're slowly approaching the moon. And once we get close enough, we'll run our experiments. Simple little rocket. Perfect. So let's check our electric charge. We can probably turn that. We don't need to. Alright, let's do some science. We'll right click on the Science Junior. Conduct material study. Wow, 50 science. Material study while you're high in space over the moon. The high radiation environment caused a few of the samples to glow. It looks like it would be fun to paint a rocket with this. Well, let's keep that experiment. That's going to help us big time. Now we can do our crew report. 10 science for that. We can even transmit it if we had an antenna, but we don't. Crew report while flying in space high over the moon. You look down at the cold gray surface. It looks really beat up with craters. Well, of course it's beat up with craters. It's probably protecting Kerbal from all the asteroids. So we're going to keep that experiment. We will right click on the thermometer, take a temperature scan while in space high over the moon. Measuring the temperature of space appears to be quite impossible, as there is no matter around to be either hot or cold, except this spacecraft, and the thermometer itself. This has probably given the research and development guys something to think about for a while. 16 science for that, we're just going to keep it. Let's do a pressure report. 24 science. So it seems like the further we go, the more science we're going to get. Atmospheric pressure scan while in space high over the moon. The instrument reads 0, as if it were in a vacuum, because obviously it is. So we're going to keep that experiment. Alright, so I believe we are done with what we can do. Kerbals cannot disembark while off Kerbal's surface. Astronaut complex upgrade required. So if you want your Kerbal to do an EVA out in space, you need to upgrade your astronaut complex. So we'll do that next time. Have a look at our resources here. Nothing seems to be draining. I think we'll be fine. So now we can head back home. Just gonna fast forward a little bit just to escape the moon's sphere of influence. And perfect. So now we are orbiting Kerbal once again, and our periapsis is a little bit off than what we were expecting on the first initial trajectory, but that is also because we did delete the maneuver node and we continued to burn randomly. So we're about 338,000 away from our periapsis, so we're just gonna go here, Fast forward a little bit more, and there you go. I'm going to turn on the SAS so we can have some control and flip it to retrograde. We're already on it. So I'm just going to throttle up very slowly and we'll watch our periapsis. Going down, we're going to put it to about 55, maybe 50. 50,000 should be reasonable. Actually, we'll stop it at 70. We'll get over there, we'll use up most of our fuel by warping here. I just want to make sure that we use all of our fuel rather than just ditching it in space, because nobody likes that. Might as well use the fuel that you bring up with you. Save some time. So it does look like we'll probably have to aero brake a little bit just to return home. So now that we are here, we're just going to flip over to retrograde and initiate our burn. We're going to make sure that we leave ourselves with like 25 to 35 ms left. And that should give us enough fuel to pretty much come up. Cutting it close. 71,000 is our lowest point of our orbit, and 1,791,000 is our highest point. So I'm just gonna go back into the map. We'll fast forward a little bit of time here. Ooh, too fast. Let's see where we are here. Do it a little bit easier. We'll just go warp here. Wow, I actually can't believe that we did that fly by the moon on the first try. Considering how hard it was to get into orbit yesterday with Jebediah Kerbal. Alright, we'll stop time here. Perfect. We'll use our remaining fuel to just bring this below the atmospheric level. Ooh, a little too much, but I'll switch over to prograde for a moment and just a little tad throttle. That should be good. So right about here, we're going to ditch our final stage. Goodbye. There's a little tiny bit of fuel in there, but we're not going to need any more. So to help save our science experiments, I'm going to close these doors. I honestly don't know if that'll help or if that even affects the aerodynamics. And we are going to fast forward until we hit the atmosphere. Ooh, maybe I should turn off the SAS. Perfect. And it's going to just continue to spin because I turned off the SAS. But we don't need that. Fast forward some more. 35 electric charge. That should be enough to keep myself pointing retrograde as we enter the atmosphere. Doesn't really matter though. We do have a pilot aboard. Just hope that she has a safe re-entry. Alright, so we're getting close. 100, 80, 70, perfect. So now we're entering the lower or upper atmosphere. It's going to hit retrograde and just keep it there for now. So next time I'm going to upgrade the astronaut complex so I can do an EVA in space. Ooh, what are the conditions that we need to... Oh, we already did it. Oh, it wasn't test the parachute, it was just haul it. So we actually completed both of our goals without even realizing it. So that's a bonus. I'm going to fast forward some time here. And let's bring Valentina home. So we are entering the atmosphere. Getting really hot. Flaming fireball. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I just kind of hope we don't land over the water this time. I already have experiments from the water. And I kind of would like to land somewhere different. Pretty sure my Kerbals are sick of getting wet. Oh, So apparently we weren't coming home through that run. But we did slow down quite a bit. I'm going to see what that did to our apoapsis. So it brought it down to 1.2 million instead of 1.7. So it kind of looks like it's going to take 2 more orbits to actually come home safely. So let's fast forward time and try this again. A point retrograde. 34.57 electric charge left. Maybe I'll just turn it off for now, just in case. Hopefully the pressure of the atmosphere will keep me pointing in the same direction. Fast forward. Seems like when I hit about 55 is when it... Oh, I guess it's not. Or maybe because it's I'm fast forwarding. So you can see there we're getting a little bit of damage from the heat, or heat level meters are going up. Maybe I should keep the SAS on pointed. Let our heat shield take the brunt of the heat, not our experiments. Because we really don't want to lose that. That's 50 science that could be added onto our research and development tree. Can I do a pressure scan high up in the atmosphere? I already did it. Temperature scan. Oh, I already have one of those. I'm going to keep that. Let's do a temperature scan from the other thermometer. Oh, I have one of those as well. I guess I can't take a temperature scan. Oh well. So let's just see how far we're coming down from our apoapsis. We brought it down to about 950. Let's say about maybe 900 by the time I hit the 70,000. Yeah, fast forward some more. Oh, I was 850. So yeah, if you guys ever run out of fuel, you can always just do this. Bring your periapsis into the atmosphere and let the atmosphere slow you down and bring down your apoapsis. All right, so we've entered space again. I'm just going to fast forward so we're not spending all this time just orbiting Kerbal. And we're going to be going back into the atmosphere. I have a feeling like we're going to run out of... Oh, I guess not. I feel like we should be using more electric charge. 4 times speed. I'm excited to get this science home. It might give us bigger engines or bigger fuel tanks. Or even better experiments. How many orbits will it take to get home? I could have probably brought this down lower, but it is what it is. I have no more fuel. So I'm just going to have to let gravity do its work. Na, 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 na. I really don't know if this actually makes a difference of having the doors open or closed. I just close them for safety. It feels like if they're closed, they would be more protected. Alright, so let's see what our apoapsis is now. 493. 2 more times. So I'll fast forward. And past that, get back into the atmosphere. Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to be using Jebediah for the anytime soon because he did die in the last stream. So I'm thinking that maybe I'm just going to hold off on using him. At least until I get to a certain point in the game and maybe we've developed a cloning facility or something like that. And Jebediah comes back to life. Yeah, I didn't know that though, that they come back to life. I was expecting to jump in and Jebediah be gone. Fast forward 4 times. Now we're in the atmosphere again. So one thing I do have to practice on doing is trying to return home on the Kerbal Space Center launch pad. But I haven't quite gotten that down yet. Because Valentina, she's a crazy pilot. She's learning. She's only got 1 experience. Not quite enough to be doing complex maneuvers like that. Alright, let's check our apoapsis. 200 and say 50. Yeah, I'm thinking about 1 more time. Maybe even the last time. We are just about to hit 60. So yeah, when you're in the atmosphere, you can only fast forward 4 times. But when you leave the atmosphere, you have a different speed up timer. I guess it's just the way the physics work. You don't want to be going too fast inside of the atmosphere and the game not knowing what to do. So there's our space music. We're just going to stop this and fast forward. Cannot warp faster than 50x while below 120,000. 2400. Alright. This should be the last time, and then Valentina's going to come home. 204,000. Our electric charge is doing great. We didn't even use half of it. But that's a reminder to me for next time to make sure to put on batteries or solar panels. Because it's kind of important when you go into space. We need the power. So us burning through the atmosphere that many times has actually took away half of our ablator. Which is fine. It should be enough to get us home. I've actually come home before with no heat shield at all. So it just depends on the speed that you're entering the atmosphere and the angle. Fast forward 4 times. And let's hope that this is the last time that we'll have to orbit. So if you also look on the bottom left here, you can see our apoapsis countdown, periapsis. I think for sure we're going to be coming home with this one. So we can actually get out of this map mode. And we can watch her come down. She's just sitting there being all claustrophobic. I really wonder how big these capsules are. Might be able to see more description on them if I right click them inside of the VAB building. Ooh, spinning out. Oh, that was just a camera glitch. So yeah, it looks like we're going to be coming home safely with this. I do hope that we're not landing too quickly to the where we lose our science experiment. And I hope that this 1 parachute is actually enough to slow us down. We'll find out soon enough. Entering the upper atmosphere, we're slowing down like crazy now. Switch this over to surface speed. So this is our speed relative to the surface of the planet. And we've made it through the rough part of the atmosphere. Slow down time just a little bit. So now, we're going to land over the water again. Boo. Oh well. At least we have this experiment that we can keep. I just hope it doesn't blow up. So I'm going to fast forward till we hit about 5,000 meters. And right about now, launch my parachute. Fast forward again. Parachute should open about 500 meters. There we go. Surface speed 6.5, 6.1. I think that's okay. We should be able to keep our experiment. Slow down time just before we hit the water. Touchdown. So we did survive. We did keep our experiment. But now that we're on the planet, let's see if there's any science that we can do while we're here. Oh. I just didn't want her drowning because I don't know if Kerbals can swim. Let's try that again. Okay. So we are going to take an EVA report. 3.2 science or EVA report from Kerbin's water. You could have went swimming here, but no. Keep that experiment. I'm going to log the pressure data. Actually, let's take the data, and then we'll log the pressure data. Oh, apparently I cannot do that from the outside. So let's take the data from this thermometer. We'll get back inside of our ship, and then we'll try to do those experiments. So we'll log temperature. We already did that one. We'll log pressure data. We already did that one. Can I do a crew report? Yes. Oh no, that's the one that we already have. So I'm going to keep that experiment. I'm going to get out again. And I'm going to right click the command module and take all the data. So that's going to take out the crew report out of the hard drive or wherever it is on this command module. Then I'm going to get back inside and we will do a crew report again. And we already have one from the water, so we'll just reset that and then we will recover our vessel. So we actually successfully flew by the moon on our first try. That's pretty cool. Maybe now we can orbit the moon or build something better. That 18-ton rocket limit, though, that's really going to hinder us. Wow, 120.8 science earned. We got all of those science experiments. Most of our parts back. We didn't get any parts from the boosters that we ditched. And Valentina is now 1 star. And she has 2 experience gained. Perfect. So, we completed all of our missions. We have some science. Let's go into the research and development and see what we can unlock. Alright. So, these ones cost us 90 science. This one is 45. So we can get this one. We could probably get both. So let's get aviation. This will unlock some parts to build ourselves a plane. Small circular intake, wing connectors, ailerons, Mark 1 cockpit, some landing gear wheels, navigation lights, and some liquid fuselage. Perfect. So we'll get that. And we have just enough science to pick one of these. I'm gonna see what we have in the rocketry here. Gives us a REL10 Poodle liquid fuel engine. This one will give us the Skipper, Kickback solid fuel booster, Bobcat liquid fuel engine, and the Pollux solid fuel booster. What about propulsions? This will give us a small spark engine, which is good for the vacuum of space. Little tiny engines. External tank for fuel. It's a very small tank. It only holds 24.3 liquid fuel. Same with this one. I guess these are maybe for probes. Ooh, monopropellant tank. So if you want to do any maneuvers in space, like rendezvous or docking, you're going to need monopropellant. But we're not really going to be doing that right now. So let's see what else we can get. Fuel ducts, drain valves, fuel tanks, more fuel tanks. How about this one? Advanced construction. So this one will give a bigger detachment manifold, a stack separator, a radial decoupler that's out a little bit more. Ooh, a flag that we can put on our ship. And it gives us hinges, structural tubes, hydraulic cylinders, and a rotation servo. I don't really want any of that stuff yet. Aerodynamics. This one will give us some radial air intakes, circular intakes, some more aerodynamic stuff. Mark 1 inline cockpit. Radial or ducted fan blades, so I think that's if you wanted to build a plane or a helicopter. Turbo shaft engine. How about the next one? Landing. A bigger heat shield. Landing struts. A launch escape system. Bigger parachute. Small landing gears for our plane. That might be helpful. And a smaller heat shield. Advanced flight control. This gives us RCS thruster blocks. So that will use the monopropellant to maneuver our ship around while we're in orbit so we can do rendezvous. Another monopropellant tank, a round one. This one also gives us the Mark II command pod. Let's see the next one. More science. Cargo storage unit, EVA repair kit, storage unit, a hitchhiker storage unit, a ladder, a small work lamp, a work stand, rover wheels, and a Probodyne experiment control station. So I believe that's for if you wanted to do experiments on the moon or wherever you go, you can take these little electronics with you and set them up and get some science from that. Miniaturization. EVA experiments kit, stack separators, Clampotron docking port junior, and a Goobed monitor. Alright, so the last one is electrics. So this will give us access to a probe core, our first solar panel, our first battery. Is that the first or second? Second. So we already have a battery, but it's a small one. So let's get this one. We're going to get this one so we can actually get the solar panel. Because if we're going to be going out in space further, we're going to need more power. And it doesn't help to have some lights. So I think this would be the way to go. Research. We have 18.7 left, not enough to get anything else, but we'll get those next time. Leave facility. So, astronaut complex. Let's see how much it will cost us to upgrade this thing. Right click. Oh, that's not bad. 75,000. And Kerbals on EVA can place flags. Kerbals can perform an EVA. That's pretty important. So I'm going to upgrade that. What else can we do? The vehicle assembly building. No, that's too expensive. We can't really upgrade that. It'll leave us with barely nothing to build rocket. How about the launch pad? 50,000. So that increases our max vessel weight and our max vessel size. I think we'll go for that one. It's only 50,000. Might as well. So now that we got that launch pad upgraded, we can make bigger rockets. What else can we do here? Astronaut complex. Research and development. 451,000. And then Kerbals on EVA can collect surface samples. That's another source of science for those people that are struggling to get it. So when you have this money, you can get this upgrade and you can collect surface samples. But for now, let's go back into the mission control and see what other missions we can accept. So we got conduct atmospheric surveys of Kerbal, conduct temperature surveys of Kerbal, explore Kerbal, science data from space around Kerbal. We could probably pick that one up. Test Robemax model S2 landed at Kerbal. We can probably pick that one up and do it very easily. Conduct temperature surveys of the moon. So they want us to actually go to specific locations and specific altitudes. I'm actually going to stay away from that one for now because I don't think we're that advanced to be able to complete it. Ferry 3 tourists safely to their destination. You know what? Let's grab one of those ones. Where do they want to go? Actually, do I even have a place to put them? Just gonna have a look in the VAB building for a moment. Let's see if I have something that holds more than one Kerbal. Crew capacity 1. Do I have anything that would hold them? I am not seeing anything. Oh, we do. We have a Mark 1 crew cabin, so it can hold 2 Kerbals. So I think that's what we'll do. What we're gonna do is zoom in. We are gonna get rid of this science experiment. I would like to keep it, but for now I don't think it's plausible to keep it. I'm gonna do the Mark 1 crew cabin. We'll put our heat shield back on there. And this will probably be heavier than the Science Junior, especially with 2 Kerbals inside of it. So we'll probably need some more parachutes. We'll get the radial mount parachute, and we'll put 2 of those on the side. Sorry, I'm gonna block your view. You won't be able to see out your window. Since we're gonna be going back to the moon, I'm gonna put the mystery goo containment units back on. So I don't think we got any of that from the moon. Right about there. Perfect. So now, this rocket got us to the moon. But since I added a little more weight, we might need a little more fuel. So I'm just gonna take off this one small tank that I had before. We'll put on the big one again, now that we can have the weight. And we're not gonna be overweight. Alright, so design checklist, show severity. Stay. So empty crew cabin, electric charge required but not generated, cannot transmit science, unused monopropellant resource. So I'm gonna right click on my command module and we're gonna throw away that monopropellant because we don't have any. Cannot transmit science. Well, let's see what we can do about that. Communication. We'll get ourselves a communitron. We'll put that on there. There you go. And right there should be okay. Just gonna rotate that a little bit. We'll turn off the snap. And we'll rotate it pointing. So now we have at least little ears. Perfect. So I'm gonna place. And this is starting to look better. We'll go into the crew. And oh, we didn't accept that mission. I guess we didn't accept it because we weren't sure if we had something that would hold Kerbals. But now that we do, we can accept it. But let's finish building this rocket before we do that. So what else do we need? Electric charge is required but not generated. So we go into electric choke, grab ourselves a solar panel. I'll just put 2 of those on the side here, but I'll turn the snap back on. That way it just snaps nicely. And I think we need some batteries. We don't need too much. Where can I place this? I'm going to move this pressure sensor, and then we'll put the battery there. There we go. So try to keep everything symmetrical, because there is weight issues. If you had only one of these on, it would tilt to the right, obviously, and we don't want to do that. So we'll put 2, and I think we're almost ready to launch. We just need to accept the mission. But let's just double check what else we need here. Oh, now what's going on? Oh, too many parts. We have 2 parts over what we're supposed to have. I guess we really don't need the pressure sensor. We can get rid of those. And we can hope that this will get us to the moon again. But we're not going to be landing or doing anything like that. So I'm going to save this as lunar flyby with tourists. And we'll save it. So I'm just going to leave the facility for a moment. And what we're going to do is accept that contract. Ferry 3 tourists safely to their destination. But which one? Orbit around Kerbal, fly by the moon, suborbital spaceflight. Fly by the moon, orbit. Fly by the moon, orbit. How about this one? It seems about the same for each, so let's just grab this one. So I'll only be able to do 2 passengers at a time. I'm gonna leave the facility, vehicle assembly building, and let's get those crew inside their spots. We got Roland Kerbal. Let's just see exactly where he wants to go. He wants to orbit around Kerbal, fly by the moon, and suborbital spaceflight. So let's get him in there. And how about Kerbal? Where does he want to go? Fly by the moon, orbit around Kerbal. So I guess they're going. Sigmore, you can wait till next time. Valentina, sorry to do this, but you have had enough experience. Let's get our Janri in there. Our new pilot. Jebediah, you're still dead. So we're gonna save this, double check our staging. What I'm actually gonna do is change this to fire second, so this one will fire first. And let's give it a launch and see how this goes. Yeah, I was actually surprised that we got to the moon on that first launch. I really wasn't expecting that rocket to get us there. But we're going to stick with what works and use the same design, just a little adjustment. And apparently little tiny boosters. So SAS on, now that we have more electric capacity stored on this ship. We don't have any monopropellant because we're not going to need it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. So this mission we are transmitting or recovering science data from space around Kerbal. I guess that didn't last very long at all. We actually might not even get into orbit with this new added weight. We'll see what happens though. So the minute we get into orbit, we can actually gather scientific data and complete that mission. And there goes our launch pad, getting blown up by the rockets that we just dropped on it. 4,000 meters. So this time we got Janri flying the ship, with 2 passengers, Roland and Dudler. Because you know, that's very smart. Valentina's the most experienced pilot. You know what? We're gonna get some tourists in there and we'll put a pilot that's never flown before. Yeah. Let's hope for the best and that they can return home. Slowly gonna be about 3/4 through this first stage. Tilting over to the right. Just gonna check the map here in a moment. Perfect. We'll see what our height is. 34,000. Should be able to... Oh, we're about to run out of fuel here. Last stage. And this was a very weak engine too, so I don't think it's going to actually make it. But we'll see. So 53, 55... Yeah, I'm having a feeling like this ain't gonna make it. But at least we can do is probably get that space or scientific data from space around Kerbal. Point ourselves to the horizon and push ourselves straight that way. So hopefully by the time we reach about here, we'll hit 70,000. Yeah, we might actually just have enough fuel to make it to a moon flyby, but not enough to get home. I gotta make sure though I can bring these guys home. I don't want to leave them stranded out, because I'm trying not to revert if I can avoid it. Like yesterday, or last stream, I reverted and I didn't have a parachute for Jebediah, so he was gonna die. So I reverted. And I put a parachute on the ship and he still died. And so I think that was the universe's way of saying, nope, no reverting. Alright, so I'm gonna just increase this up a little bit. We'll bring that up to 70. Yeah, we're not gonna have enough fuel. Not for the moon. But we'll have enough fuel for orbit. Which means we need to make some tweaks and adjustments to this rocket if we want it to go to the moon. But since we're up here, we might as well gather that data. And a few other science experiments if we can. Now that we can do an EVA. 68,000. We actually just Kerbal Space Center right there. 70,000. And we need about 500 more MS. So yeah, just enough fuel to get us into orbit and bring us home, but not enough to go to the moon. I guess we'll have to do some upgrades. Bring that up with us and get that to just about 70,000. Just going to stop my engine because this is going to run away on us and continue to travel around and go further away from us. So I'm going to speed up a little bit just until we reach our apoapsis, and then we'll fire again in the prograde direction. That way we can stabilize our orbit. So this pilot has no experience, so he has no prograde or retrograde markers. Alright, we're in orbit. Or almost. There, now we are. 144 meters. Or miles? Yeah, miles. Above the Kerbal atmosphere. Just gonna fast forward time a little bit and we'll get ourselves some science experiments. And we'll wait for some sunlight. It's a little dark on this side of the planet. Good job, January. At least you completed half of your mission. Sorry, Roland, and sorry, Dudbar. You do not get to go to the moon today. But you did get to orbit and do a suborbital flight. So now what we're going to do is point ourselves retrograde. We're going to tap the throttle ever so slightly just to bring it down. Actually, let's try to land over the space center if we can. So 51, we'll just bring it down all the way. There we go. That might be a little too far. Yeah, a little too far. So I'm just going to turn prograde. And we'll give it a... I guess it's a little bit harder without the markers. Perfect. So we'll just give it a thrust there. A little bit more. So I do hope that'll be enough to get us landed right about here, but I doubt it. We'll see what happens. I'm going to point myself retrograde, because I don't have a stability assist that'll point me there constantly. And I guess we can ditch the stage, because we're not going to need it. That'll fall back down to the planet, and hopefully not kill anybody. But it's space, we just dump our garbage anywhere. And not think about the consequences. I'll fast forward. And readjust our position. And fast forward again. So I hope I'm not coming in too steep. And I do hope we can actually land near the Kerbal Space Center. But this is my first attempt of trying to land near this area where we took off. So let's see how it goes. Slow down just to move ourselves over a bit. We don't want to blow up our new tours, especially with our new pilot. Ooh, I forgot to do the EVA. Might as well do it now. EVA report. Uh-oh. He was starting to heat up and he would have died. Let's try again. EVA report. Keep experiment. Board. There we go. That red bar was rising pretty quickly. So at least we got an EVA report from upper atmosphere. How about crew report? I think we did that one already. Yeah. Well, I guess we brought all this stuff for no reason, really. 2.1 science for mystery goo observation from the upper atmosphere. And keep that. Solar panels have kept us fully charged. We don't need to worry about our power anymore. And we definitely have enough parachutes to give us a safe landing. Kind of hoping that we won't blow up. And hopefully he gains some experience from this flight. It is his first one after all, and he successfully did an orbit around Kerbal. It's like Jebediah set the standards for everybody else. He couldn't do it, and then Valentina comes and shows everybody that she does it. And now January's turn. Go to normal time and reorientate ourselves. Perfect. So it does look like I'm coming in at a steep angle. And I'm gaining a little bit of heat damage, but not that much. It's probably because I'm pointing out of the retrograde. Nice. Well, it looks like we are way not gonna make it. Oh well. Can I at least make it onto land this time? Nope, gonna be the water. Maybe. Watch it be on this little tiny patch of land right there. Nope, water. So slow down at about 5,000. Launch our parachute. Now we have 3 parachutes because we have more weight. And fast forward. Just gonna play it slightly before they land. So I've had an issue before where if you're fast forwarding time and you get near the surface, wherever the barrier is, there's been an occasion where it just kept going. And you're going into the negative, and it's just like, aren't you supposed to stop? But I guess this game does have its glitches, like most games. Everybody's clapping happily because they successfully orbited Kerbin. They're like, yeah, we want the moon. That's what we paid for. We didn't get it. I wouldn't be complaining. They get to go to space twice, which is more than anybody can say about Jebediah. Alright, so we've successfully completed that. Let's see if we can do a mystery goo from the water. We can. The goo wobbles around its container and starts to seep out the holes. We'll keep that experiment. And we will see if we can do a crew report. We can. Crew report from Kerbin Shores. You record the crew's assessment of the situation. So apparently we're not over the water, we're just over the shores. So that means we could probably do a pressure data, which we don't have with us, but we can do a temperature. So we will log temperature, collect and record the temperature data from the environment. Perfect, we'll keep that. We'll do an EVA. We'll get an EVA report from out here. I don't think a spacesuit was entirely necessary to get here, was it? Well, it depends on if you can swim or not. We'll keep that and reboard the vessel. So now we can recover that and see what we can do to get this next mission complete here. So what did we learn from that last launch? We are too heavy. Not enough fuel. Well, not too heavy, but not enough fuel. That's for sure. And our upper stage has a really weak engine. So we're going to try to fix that. 23 science from that last mission, giving us a total of 42. And I believe we need 50 to spend, or 45, so let's just double check that. 90, wow. Yeah, we don't have that. Okay, so let's get out of here. And see if we can accept the mission while we're here. No, so I guess we're still stuck with these 3 active missions. Why? Oh, I didn't do an experiment while I was in space. Oh well. I guess we'll try again. We did gain some science, so that helps. VAB assembly building. Let's build another rocket. Well, we'll keep the same rocket, we'll just do some upgrades to it. And it doesn't really matter about the mass, the parts though. So I'm gonna get rid of these 2. And let's put on these big suckers. That actually might do the whole thing for us. And we will raise our rocket up so it's not in the ground. Perfect. So I think that's going to do it for us because we can't really put any more parts on this thing. Let's just test this and see how it goes. We'll just say tourist 1. Perfect. Save that, launch it. And I hope this time we can actually get a flyby of the moon. I think after we complete this mission, I will end this stream for the night. Spend some time with my beautiful wife. SAS on, full throttle. 5-second countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. So we're not going to fire this rocket until we actually get rid of these 2 boosters. So I'm going to do this and bring down that so we can actually hit spacebar and get rid of those. Uh-oh. I don't want to tilt left, left. Okay, how about this? Uh-oh. Whatever. Full throttle, spacebar. It is what it is. No! Kaboom! Wow, what a failure launch. So, what I'm gonna do is actually abort. I don't have any escape or launch escape system, so what I'm just gonna do is spacebar, spacebar, spacebar. Abort, abort, abort. Goodbye, rockets. Please don't hit me, please don't hit me. I'll launch our parachutes. Well, that was a failure. I should have been paying attention to my orientation when I took off. Wow. Sorry. Sorry. We didn't really go very far. Okay. So we could either pretend that didn't happen or accept the loss of the rocket and continue. I think we will accept the loss and continue. We'll try to make our money and continue our space program with doing as little reverting as possible. And touchdown. Wow. I'm gonna relaunch again and see if it's the rocket or my flying ability. I was thinking it's my flying ability. I wasn't paying attention and I was tilting to the right way too much at the beginning of my launch. So let's see. We got 6,391 from that. And let's actually see how much the rocket cost to build. So we lost about 7,000, 8,000 Kerbal bucks. That's really not so bad. I do believe this rocket can do it, so I'm going to save and launch again. We'll give it another try and hopefully they don't die. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. We'll bring this down just in case I need to get rid of those. There we go. Oh, tilting, not paying attention, not paying attention. You know what? Bring this down, we'll fire that, activate. Maybe that'll help. And it seems to be not helping. Ditch, maybe? No, I'm just gonna keep it going. No ditch, no ditch, no ditch. I'm literally holding all the way to the left to try to stabilize myself straight, but it's not really working. Get rid of those. Perfect. Oh, uh-oh. So we're too heavy. Just flip around. Try again. Throttle off. We'll flip around. And fire again. Maybe that'll work. Alright, I'm not doing any acrobats at all. Nobody's spinning. Nobody's doing nothing. We're doing fine. So, really top heavy for this rocket. I'm gonna have to make some changes on the next flight. And I probably wasted a lot of my fuel with that acrobatics in the upper atmosphere. see what our apoapsis is at. Let's just tilt over to the horizon. And yeah, start pushing ourselves to do our gravity turn and hopefully get ourselves as quick as we can before we jettison this stage. Ooh, really made it up there. Yeah, definitely not enough, but oh, it actually might be enough. It's not going to be enough because I'm going to be burning inefficiently. See, where am I? Am I still in the atmosphere? Yes, but I'm leaving, so it doesn't really matter. I am getting the full efficiency from my thrust since I'm now in space. Well, let's try to attempt to do a moon flyby, even with that mistake that we had. I'm gonna cut my engines and actually fast forward to right about there. I want to be closer to my apoapsis. That way I'm getting closer to burning to my prograde marker. More efficient. But I probably waited too long, so most likely I'm gonna have to raise it up a little bit. We'll see what happens. So it looks like I probably will have enough fuel to go to the moon and do a flyby. Assuming I can get into orbit properly first. $1,500. So 2,300 is around orbit speed. And I might just be shy. So because of that flip that I did at the beginning and all that inefficient burning, I might have to come home to aero braking, and it might take a little while, so $20 degrees, 10 degrees, and we are about to get into orbit. 250 ms to go. 200. 150. 100. Well, 150. 100. Oh shit. Oh, I thought we ran out of fuel. No, we didn't. I just hit the stop button. Perfect. We're now in orbit with the 71,000 periapsis. 92 for our apoapsis. And we have enough fuel to go to the moon. But the question is, can we return home safely? So I'm going to set the moon as a target. Point myself in about that position. We'll add a maneuver. And we will try to figure this out to where we can come home nicely. Using as little fuel as possible. So I actually think this is perfect. 831 ms. We have 968. That's going to leave us with about 137 left. And that 137 will have to be enough to bring us home. So what I'm going to do is point myself in the maneuver node. And it looks like we have to start our burn in 8 minutes. So rather than have you guys sit here for 8 minutes, I'm going to fast forward time. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Uh-oh, over. Should be okay. 20 seconds. So we're going to burn and hopefully complete our goal. Ooh, while we're here, we can also get some science from space around Kerbal. but I'll wait until we complete our burn. This is going to be cutting it very close. Like really close. And I'm not going to revert, so if they get stuck, they're stuck. 250. I'm just going to slow down a bit because the minute I get that encounter, I'm going to stop it. I don't want to be wasting any more fuel. Slow down a little more. Wow. Perfect. So we have our moon encounter, 133 MS fuel left over. So let's quickly get in here and do some science experiments so we can complete that mission. Good job, January. Second flight, you actually made it. Observe mystery goo. And I'm not going to keep that. I'll reset that experiment. I do need to keep something. Let's do a crew report, and we will actually just send that data home. Starting transmission, uploading data. I didn't get any science, but as you can tell, go away. I completed the mission. So now we just need to fly by the moon and bring these guys home safely. But while we're near the moon, we'll actually take some science experiments. Warp here. And that will give us our encounter with the moon. I'm actually proud of Genry for doing this mission and completing it. And we have our encounter. We're going to hit the moon's periapsis. And we're going to point ourselves retrograde, because now we have these markers. He gained an experience point. And actually, I'm not burning anything, because I'm not wasting my fuel, so I keep myself pointing in that direction, and we'll just do some science. So far away. Alright, mystery goo. 20 science from that. The goo feels right at home here. Keep. Log the temperature data. We already have that one, so I'm going to reset the experiment. We'll do a crew report. We might already have that one as well. Yep. But this time we can do an EVA. So now Genry is flying around. It's kind of scary. Ooh. And we will just do an EVA report. 16 science, and we will get ourselves back into our ship. If we can. Grab, and perfect. We'll board the ship. There we go. Good job, Jeremy. You did your first EVA near the moon. You gathered some experiments. Now it's time to come home. So we will fast forward until we get out of the moon escape. And voila. We are left the moon. So now we are close to our apoapsis. And we have an 81,000 periapsis. So I'm just going to point myself retrograde. Burn a little bit of fuel. A little bit more. And we'll get ourselves to about 49, maybe. Ooh. Retrograde. I didn't realize that my SAS turned off. There we go. A little bit more. Oh, that's way too much. I want it to be about 49,000. And then any leftover fuel we'll just burn when we hit about, get close to periapsis. And that should do. So, since we're this high above Kerbal, let's see if we can do an EVA report from here. EVA report. Ooh, hide space over Kerbal. You recorded your observations of the situation. We're going to keep that experiment. We're going to take the data from the command module and we're going to board. We will do a crew report high in space above Kerbal. We already have that one. Let's try mystery goo high in space. It gives us 3.5 science, so we'll keep that. Log the temperature. We've already done that one. Measuring the temperature of space appears to be quite as impossible. I've already read that one. Alright, so all we can do is return home. I'm gonna fast forward to about here. And we will begin our slow aero braking to get ourselves home. Yeah, I really didn't think that I was actually going to complete that mission. So we'll get it right about here. And then we're going to burn as much as we can retro. I want to get as close as I can to this periapsis. Am I running out of electric charge? No, I'm still full. Let's see what's going on here. We're 61,000 meters. We're on the dark side of the planet. 59. I'll probably start burning when I hit 50. Oh, maybe I should do it now. So we just wasted the rest of our fuel. Alright, now we have no fuel. Let's ditch that stage and point ourselves retrograde. At least this will make it back home safely. Well, I can't say safely because I don't know who it's going to hit. And let's just hope that we are able to return. So with us slowing down, that's actually bringing down our apoapsis pretty quickly. That's why I chose 49,000 rather than 59 or higher up. I wanted this to just come shooting down with every orbit, which it is doing so far. I'm going to say by the time we're done this, maybe 2 million, but it's hard to tell. Fast forward. So now we're actually slowing down. We need to get way below the 2,250 ms. So with each pass of the planet, we drop a little bit of our speed. And it actually went further than the 2 million that I predicted. Just entered space, so fast forward. And do it all over again. But this is really a good technique to actually learn if you're always running out of fuel, apparently, like I just did. But I'm actually happy I was able to complete that mission. So the only thing I have left to do is to take Sigmore up there, and he needs to go fly by the moon. And he also needs to orbit around Kerbal. But Roland and Dudbar actually paid quite a bit of money to go on this trip. So all of those rockets that I blew up, that really doesn't matter because I made more. And also, before I end this stream, I should maybe finish up this mission to where I can test the Rogue Max model S2 landed at Kerbal. So that will just be a simple build where you just throw the wheel on there and test it on the launch pad. So our apoapsis or periapsis is dropped down to 47,000. We initially had it at 49,000. This is just climbing down quickly. We'll fast forward. We'll see how fast that goes down. 13, 12, 11, 1 million. So maybe one more orbit will bring it down to maybe 80 or 90,000, and then we can do one more pass to come home. I'm gonna actually look into some mods for this game to help me add some clouds and some better surface detail, like trees and bushes and stuff. So the one thing about arrow braking is apparently I cannot hope that I would land at the Kerbal Space Center because it's all random. I have no idea where I'm gonna land. Now that I'm in space though, I can fast forward to full time. Get that final orbit. And hopefully bring all these tourists home safely. It's nice to have these hotkeys here, or these buttons. There's been many occasions where I didn't have the button and I was pointing prograde inside of the atmosphere and I ended up shooting to the ground like a bullet and there was just no slowing down at all and you just hit the ground. 60,000, we'll fast forward. I do hope this will be the last time we do this. So as we get closer to periapsis, it's going to be coming down really quickly. So this is the final orbit, and then the next time we'll come and enter the atmosphere and return home. So it looks like that's going to be brought down to about 300. Which is okay. That does mean it's our last one, though. We won't be orbiting this 10 times in a row just to get home. And as you can see, we're getting close to that 2,250. And once we actually pass that speed, we start falling back to the planet because we can no longer sustain our orbit. So about 329, I was 29,000 off. But I am right about the last orbit. So we'll fast forward. I'm not going to congratulate them yet because they still need to make it home. And we'll warp here at 4 times speed. It would be nice if we actually landed over the Kerbal Space Center. It might be a possibility, but I kind of doubt it. Actually, there's a high probability. Na 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 na. So yeah, we're not going to be orbiting anymore. This is our final time. That's going to bring down all the way past the 70. So we are 42,000 kilometers. Yeah, we're not coming back up. We're done. So I can actually switch back to here and have a watch. Let's actually see how close we are from the Kerbal Space Center. Yeah, we're not going to hit that. Looks like we're going to land in about the same area as we did last time. Which is right about here, I believe. Or, no, I think last time was right about here. So, overshot. Oh, we actually get to land on land today. getting hot, getting hot, getting hot. We'll be fine. Maybe I should slow this down and keep myself pointed on retrograde. See if we can do a temperature. We already done it. Crew report. Already did it. Mystery goo. Already done. No experiments to be done. Gonna have to bring up that Science Junior and get rid of these tourists. If I put on the decoupler right about here and push spacebar, I can get rid of these tourists. But they're paying me. I need to fulfill their duties or their wishes. Well, it looks like we had a successful trip here. January has made it to the moon and back, even with a rough launch. I'm actually surprised that that was doable. At 5,000, we will hit our parachute. Yeah. So today there was no Kerbal deaths. There could have been, but we aborted our launch before anything bad really happened. And don't mind all the craters on the ground from the last rocket that we launched. It didn't happen. Nice, so with those extra parachutes, it gives us 4.6 for speed, 4.8, which is 2 ms slower than we were with the one parachute and the science module. And we brought Roland and Dudbar home safely, and January as our new #1 pilot. Sorry, Valentina, you weren't able to recover from a crazy launch and still go to the moon. Once you do that, you will be top dog again. While we are here, we can do an EVA. We'll do an EVA report. We get 2.4 science because we are over the Kerbal deserts. We'll keep that. I'm going to take all the data from this command module. I'm going to board it, and we will do a crew report while we're over the desert. And that gives us 1.5 science. So I'll keep that. And now we can recover the vessel. So that gave us more science than I was actually hoping. I didn't expect to get those science from the upper atmosphere of Kerbal. 57 science, so we now have enough to unlock one more node. Parts, we have 5,598 funds. Okay, now why was that? Oh, maybe I was wondering why this was cheaper than the last time when it was the same parts that I recovered. But apparently parts resource recovered the distance from the Kerbal Space Center, and it gives me 80.8% value. So that's why this has changed from the last rocket. Crew, all of you gained experience, but you're just a tourist, so I don't know what you'll do with that experience. Alright, let's go spend those science that we just got. Can only unlock one of these nodes, and I gotta decide which one I would like. This one, it can give us a crew capacity of 4, and it gives us a ladder. This one, I'm not really keen on getting yet. Advanced flight control. This one I'm kind of leaning towards because of the RCS thrusters. Landing, that actually will be very useful. Maybe I'll just do that one, because I would like some landing struts. But let's see what kind of other things we can get again. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the landing. It'd be nice to have better landing struts. So we got that researched up. 13.5 science left. We'll leave the facility. And we'll just finish up with one quick little more mission before I end up heading up. So we will get a new vessel. And what was the objective? Test Road Max Model 2 while landed at Kerbal. So, what is a Road Max model? I don't know, but if we're building a Road Max, let's build a Probodyne core. And zoom in a little bit, and we'll figure out what those Road Max are. Ah, they are wheels. So, what can we attach these wheels to? I guess the probe core. There we go. That's all we really need, I believe. We'll save this and launch it. We'll get that mission out of the way and earn a little tiny bit of money from that. I believe I just have to right click and say run test. Yes. Alright, that completed that mission. So in the next stream, in the next video, I am going to take Sigmore up and complete his travel itinerary. But for now, I do believe that this is where I'm going to end the stream. And I do thank you all for watching. And I do hope that you guys will be back or subscribe, follow, whatever it is you want to do. Thank you.